Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is time once again for another episode of Midnight's Edge After Dark.
Yes.
Yes.
We're recorded live in front of a studio audience of
of
two or three
of
or
audience
one.
of one. Yeah. I think there's a couple raccoons outside my window. I think they're listening.
Never know. Did you leave your garbage cans open again?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
Fucking trash pandas.
Trash Pandas. We're joined today by the Trash Pandas and by Mr. Tom Connors. How you doing?
I'm doing remarkable. Rob, how about yourself?
I am doing fine. As all of you know, I am the narrator supreme, Mr. Rob Robot Shlomo, coming to you from Shabby Road Studios in the heart of the Elm City, the most unhealthiest city in the state of Connecticut. Woohoo!
Woohoo! You just gotta have goals, you know.
Yeah. It took a lot of. No, actually, it didn't take any hard work to get to this point. So
Doritos with breakfast, 12-pack of Mountain Dew a day,
sandwiches made out of Pop-Tarts. You know, there you go. So anyway, we have a bit of a tight show for you. And Tom, why don't we kick it off? Why don't you tell us what's happening in the world of Midnight's Edge and pop culture entertainment, all that good stuff.
Supposedly Justice League had a screening. We heard a little bit about that. It's getting fantastic rave reviews from the 3 or 4 people who tweeted out about it that work for Warner Brothers, mind you, but except for the one that said it's fine, basically. And Jennifer Lawrence, I guess, is going to take a break. I don't know if she's going to have a baby or something like that. And Megan Fox is going to quit acting too for a while, but she's going to still make movies.
Oh!
Well, here's a story we haven't really followed too much. I brought it up way back when, because it just was talk at that point. But James Cameron's looking at getting the Terminator rights back because there's this 30 or 35 year deal with rights. I don't have the details in front of me right now, but I do know a little bit about it. But anyway, in the process of this, he's getting a new movie together, and he's basically going to make his own version of it. I think he's going to retcon everything up to Terminator 2. And we know Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be involved at this point. That's been reported before. But now we've got a really big announcement about this, and that is that Linda Hamilton is set to return to the Terminator franchise. And, of course, if you don't know her name, which you should, it's Sarah Connor, of course. And if you remember in Terminator 3, they kind of killed her character off. So this is obviously going to go back and pick up right where Terminator 2 left off, we're assuming, or quite a few years later. But the events in between there may not have happened is what we're getting at. But yeah, I'm really excited because this is a familiar face to the franchise. Hopefully this is just a beginning of even more. I mean, Arnold wasn't a surprise. We all kind of figured that was going to happen one way or another. So it's not like he's doing much. So,
well, Mama Bear is back. So
I just sit there and bitch at Trump all day. I need something to fucking do. James Cameron, will you make another Terminator movie, please?
that is
For the love of God.
That is an awesome
fired.
impression. I got fired.
But I'll be back.
I have to get my ass to Mars.
Get down.
I love that.
Get to the chopper. Anyway, all right. So yeah, looking forward to some more Terminator. How about you, Rob?
Yeah, I like the first. I like the first 2 films. I think James Cameron gets the rights back in 2019, I believe. Right. I think there's some deal with 35 years, and and the creator gets it back. And a fun bit of trivia, though. You know who the studio wanted to be the Terminator?
I know who you're going to say, but you might as well say it.
For you younger kids, O.J. Simpson.
Yes, he was one of the many people on the list that were okayed by the studio. And James Cameron actually wanted Lance Henriksen to play the Terminator because originally he wanted the original Terminator to be a lot more like the T-1000 was, to where he blended in with the crowd, didn't stand out like Arnold did. But yeah, what are you going to do? Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger wants to play the part. You going to tell him no?
Yeah, that's true, yeah. So anyway.
Are you going to sit there and tell me no? Kelly, man. Yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. It'll be interesting to see what kind of ideas James Cameron can come up with. I think he's only producing, though. Who is it that they got directing? I forgot. Tim Miller. And Tim Miller's set to direct the new film, so I'm kind of excited about that. Of course, Tim Miller, as you know, from Deadpool fame.
Yes.
The Watchmen's been, they've been discussing an HBO show based on the biggest, I think at this point still biggest selling graphic novel of all time, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you know why it's the biggest selling graphic novel of all time? Because
Why is that?
because DC has to keep it in print, otherwise the rights go back to Alan Moore.
Well, and I think it's also the only comic book to ever win the Newbery Award as well, and then they changed the rules so comic books couldn't win again after that, or graphic novels in this instance.
Oh, boo. Don't get me wrong, Watchmen is a great piece of work, but it's it really didn't translate well into a movie. It's kind of, as a movie property, it didn't really make the leap from the page to the screen very well.
There's a lot of things in it that I like.
Yeah.
I think that Zack Snyder did do a very good job of being able to bring everything that really is essential to the story into the film out of the book. And I actually got to give him credit for him or whoever it was that came up with the idea to change the ending, because it made more sense in the film. But a lot of the Zack Snyderisms get old after the first few minutes of the movie.
The slow motion.
Yeah. Other than that, I actually liked that, but I'm looking more forward to this because I think it'll lend itself more to the serial type telling. I think we're going to probably go like issue by issue, so it'll feel more episodic like the original comics did when they came out. It is a very deep story. If you haven't familiarized yourself with the actual book, it's really good. I mean, the movie's a good representation of what the book is. There's also a motion comic out there of it too that's available in one of the box sets as well as on its own, I believe. Really worth checking out. The weird thing about it, though, is only one person doing the voice, but it's really neat because you actually get to see the art moving along with the story and actually get to hear the entire, like, I think it runs like 4 or 5 hours or something like that, or more than that. But anyway,
familiar names working on the script. Damon Lindelof. This is gonna be on HBO, right?
yeah, HBO, which of course, where else are you going to do this? This is not something you're going to be able to do on standard network or even standard cable television. Perfect fit for it. I assume you're a Superman the movie fan, Rob.
Yes, I am. One of the first Blu-rays I ever bought.
All right. And of course, on that Blu-ray, there is an extended edition on there in the original theatrical version. But now, when you were younger, do you remember watching Superman on television when it premiered?
Yes, and I remember it being much longer.
And it was on 2 nights, correct?
Correct.
All right. Well, we're actually going to finally get to see that version for the first time on Blu-ray in high definition. The 188-minute version of Superman the movie will be coming to Blu-ray from the Warner Archives. I cannot wait for this. The 2-disc set will include the original Blu-ray that came out before with all the other special features from before and a brand new version of the film clocking it at 188 minutes, as I said. It'll be completely restored, and I cannot wait for this. I think it'll be a perfect companion to the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2, which I don't think you said you've seen yet, but I've recommended you see. And if you guys haven't seen it out there, it's a great version of the second film. A lot of history with that. We won't get into it right now, but yeah. What do you think, Rob, about this?
188 minutes is a long time. That's
a lot of suits.
That's a lot. Yeah, exactly. No, but when I first saw it when I was a kid, it confused me. It was like, hey, I don't remember this part when I saw it at the movies.
Right.
But some of the stuff is good. Some of the stuff just seemed kind of extraneous. But
well, just for a bit of history here.
Yeah. Well, it's good if you just want to. It's good to have the entire film.
Well, like guys like Dino De Laurentiis and the Salkinds who made these kind of movies back then, the deal they would make with the television version is they would spread it over 2 nights because they'd get a whole bunch more money. And to do that, of course, they would add in a whole bunch of footage. King Kong also had a similar version. Dune, I believe, also did too. There's several movies, especially back in the late 70s, early 80s, that they did this to very often. It kind of tapered off throughout the late 80s, but it was always kind of something to look forward to, and sometimes they would even advertise that there's extra footage, you know, like, because I mean, one of the first movies I remember watching was King Kong over 2 nights, and Superman 2, I think, even got a 2-night version as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This has been available on tons of bootleg versions over the years, but finally we actually get a real decent version of this for one. I think the other extended edition is like 154 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. So just to put that in perspective of how much they're actually adding to this, even more so, because yeah.
Yeah, you had adding a whole half hour practically.
Yeah, and then the original version that was in theaters, I think, is just over 2 hours, if I'm not mistaken, or just like right around 2 hours and 15 minutes or something like that. I can't remember now, but I'd have to look for sure. But anyway, yeah.
So okay, and what's any idea on a release date for that? Or?
The article says October.
Well, it's going to be on Warner Archive, which you go right to their website, or I believe like places like Amazon carry them too. But earlier this year they released, I have the review and I'll post it down below. They released Batman Mask of the Phantasm through Warner Archive as well.
Yeah. So
40 more minutes. Yep.
40 minutes. That's like I said. It makes me want, all that you remember being on ABC. You're gonna get to see that all over again. So. Well, Mr. Connors, as you believe, it is time we do the Trek log. Oh my.
Make it so, Mr. Sulu.
Oh my. Ooh.
Space, the final frontier. These are Captain Robb's logs.
What do you got for us this week, Captain Robb?
Okay, as we all know, it has been a long road for Star Trek Discovery. And the series is still under wraps. There's been a couple things have trickled out, but not much. But actually, there are some people who have seen it.
Really? Do tell.
Or at least the first 2 episodes. CBS and Paramount and the producers have screened it at a premiere event in Los Angeles at the Cinemadrome. And according to Heroic Hollywood and our buddy Grant Davis, the reactions were pretty positive.
So was it Star Trek Beyond the Cinemadome? But that was horrible. Anyway.
Well, anyway, yeah. So anyway, but we actually have some reactionary tweets, and you have to take these with a grain of salt. Okay, Carly Veloci, who is a writer for The Wrap, just got out of Star Trek Discovery. Can't say much, but it's good. It's really good. Fansets, who make toys for Warner Brothers and DC, and they make all kinds of goodies. I have seen the future. I've seen hashtag the future. I cannot put into words what I just saw. Hashtag jaw-dropping. Hashtag Star Trek lives. Hashtag Star Trek Discovery. Nicole DeBoer. Not quite sure who she is. She bills herself as Mother Actor Traveler Optimist. She said, post hashtag Star Trek Discovery premiere, all I can say is, get CBS All Access TV and the biggest TV screen you can. Former TNG cast member Gates McFadden had a fab time at Star Trek Discovery premiere, great acting, and holy cow, those special effects. Hashtag scenic, hashtag makeup, hashtag sound. So, and there's Adam Nimoy, phenomenal visuals. Outstanding cast, Sonequa rocks, well worth the wait. And there are several other cast members. Nana Visitor, who was on Deep Space Nine, she chimes in. Stands respectfully on the shoulders of past Treks and is positioned to take the tradition into the future, and I loved it. And I really have to take this wall with a grain of salt.
Oh yeah. Well, and then there's a few more that also definitely kept saying to subscribe to CBS All Access. So to me,
Yes.
It feels like somebody stood up and said, you can tweet about it, but you can't say this, you can't say that. And if you do, would you please say subscribe to CBS All Access?
It was probably I wouldn't say in a writer or whatever, but they probably all had to sign a waiver.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever.
Oh yeah. There's a non-disclosure, and there's because the as we reported last week on the last show, there is a embargo on the shows on reviews for the show until it actually premieres, which is odd for a TV show.
Yeah. and like I said, they still can't talk about it until after Sunday. Nobody can talk about it until after Sunday, but somebody's going to leak it. Somebody's going to leak. And this all reminds me of Ghostbusters, and it reminds me of Fantastic Four, and it reminds me of, so many other, the feel-good movie of the year, and it just smacks of just being, I don't want to say disingenuous, but they're just writing that narrative they're trying to build right to the finish line,
Big huge grain of salt here I'm taking it with, because the people that are tweeting out like you're pointing out are all either involved with Star Trek or were involved with Star Trek, or in some
cast
respect
members
that were kind of it seems a little biased to some people who obviously works for the company that's making the toys you brought up. Come on, obviously these people are not going to badmouth it, just like we brought up earlier with the whole Justice League screening. They work for Warner Brothers. Of course they're not going to come out and say it's a damn disaster. We don't know. It couldn't be. It could be great. This show, we've said it before, it could be great. You'll find out from us Monday. But let us know down below, what do you think Rob and I are going to think of Star Trek Discovery when the dust settles Sunday night after we've watched it, and you hear us on Monday's show telling you what we think. What do you think we're going to say? Tell us down below.
What's going to be our reaction?
Right.
I mean, they put a little nosh out, the least you could do is say thank you,
So any more Trek news out there, or did you have anything to say? A little
bit more, actually. Paramount apparently is not happy with J.J. Abrams.
Oh, do tell.
The Hollywood Reporter is reporting that Jim Giannopoulos, when J.J. Abrams went to Disney to make Star Wars, he accommodated the move, but he didn't have much of a choice. To put up a fight might mean earning the ire of Abrams, whose lucrative deal with Paramount is set to expire in 2018, and possibly make enemies of Disney and Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy.
Dun dun dun.
Dun. And since the hope is for Abrams to finish Episode 9 and then come back to Paramount to renew his deal, it was probably a smart move just to step back and let this happen. So they pretty much gave J.J. Abrams enough leeway to just go and make The Force Awakens, and they're going to let him make Episode 9, and then, okay, J.J., time to come back and, Paramount and finish out your contract, so...
Yeah, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to tell you this right now. This is completely my opinion. I have nothing to support this. They're just grandstanding. They have no plan. There was never a plan to go forward with anything more Star Trek related at this point other than Discovery. We know this. The only person who's really talking about Star Trek 4 is Carl Urban. And Carl Urban likes to talk, evidently. So...
I like Carl. I like Carl Urban.
I like him too, but
cool
he's one of those guys that, like, oh yeah, you bring up any subject, he's like, I can't wait to get on it. I want him to talk about the McCoy family. I'm like sitting here thinking, well, so far he's the only one who's talking about it. Fuck it, give him like a Nutty Professor, Star Trek 4, all the McCoys. He can play them all.
Star Trek 4, the real McCoys. Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems like to me, what are they gonna do? They're Paramount. They have no.
Well, it would probably be not worth their while to sue, for breach of contract or anything. And like I said, they don't want to make enemies of Disney because Disney owns ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, and who does special effects? ILM.
Well, they're one of the bigger companies, yeah, but it's not just that. You've got the smallest fish in the pond right now, basically, because I guarantee you, at the end of this year, when the dust settles, Paramount's going to probably be dead last as far as the majors go. And Disney, of course, is going to be right at the top, if not at the top. You're not going to want to pick a fight with that person.
No.
Yeah, that'd be like Nemo picking a fight with Jaws. It just, no. Anyway.
So that's pretty light on the news in the Trek log, and that's the Trek log for this week. So.
All right.
Captain, we are closing the Trek log.
Sulu. Get my foot out of the way this time, Sulu.
So live long and prosper. So anyway, moving right along.
All right. What do we got for the roundup?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, for the roundup. it is time for the roundup.
Yeehaw.
Okay, in the roundup this week, Tom, you ever see the movie Akira?
I have many years ago, yes.
Okay, apparently there is word that the Akira movie is back on.
Really?
And, yes, and director of Thor Ragnarok, Taika Waititi, is in talks to direct it.
Now, hasn't the Akira movie been in, like, the development hell for, like, the last 10 years?
Yes, I think even longer.
I was going to say, yeah.
At one point, I think it was, who was supposed to star in it? There was some absurd name that was involved with, like,
not Keanu Reeves or something like that, wasn't it?
No, he was supposed to be in Cowboy Bebop.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of, probably. I can't remember offhand, but, like, yeah, I was being conservative by saying 10, but I know it's been a long time they've been trying to make this. So, yeah, way before Ghost in the Shell and all that stuff, yeah, they've been trying to make Akira for years. But anyway, back on track.
So anyway, Deadline is reporting that Akira is revving back up, with Warner Brothers negotiating with Taika Waititi, the New Zealand-born director and actor who helmed Thor Ragnarok. This is going to be the picture is a live-action version of anime artist Katsuhiro Otomo's 6-volume graphic novel. The story takes place in a rebuilt New Manhattan. Okay, so they're westernizing this. Rebuilt New Manhattan, where the leader of a biker gang saves his friend from a medical experiment. Mad Chance's Laser is producing with Appian Way's Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Davison. So, big names involved.
Interesting.
The picture has been a big priority since Warner Bros. And Legendary Pictures acquired it for 7 figures from the manga publisher Kodansha. The intention has always been to make 2 films, each covering 3 books in the series. So, you know, and there's going to be a lot of people who are going to scream, whitewashing, but at the same time, it's all the Japanese references and stuff like that. It would be very difficult to do, and we saw how that worked with Ghost in the Shell. You know, it's Ghost in the Shell just wasn't a very good movie.
Right. I was going to say, I mean, I'm actually surprised that there's any movement on this, considering how poor Ghost in the Shell really did. But needless to say.
Okay, here's what you do. You want this to work, don't name it Akira. Do a Western adaptation of it, a full-fledged, change everything, set it in Los Angeles, and call it something like Adam.
Well, like a Seven Samurai kind of thing. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't take credit for that idea, but that would be a safer route.
It's not a horrible idea, no. I mean, I like that idea. It's something, and that way it's more inspired by, and not, you don't have the direct connection to where people are like, well, why are you doing this? But then again, you're still going to get that. And we know we have a lot of anime fans out here that listen to the show. So I'm sure you guys are really interested in this film. Tell us what you guys think about this. Because what would you guys do? Would you rather it be a westernized version like Rob's bringing up and they just change the name and just use it as inspiration? Or do you want them to keep it more closer to the book? And do you have an issue with the westernization? Because that's obviously going to happen whether you like it or not. So what do you guys think? Let us know.
So anyway, and moving right along.
Yes, indeed.
Nightwing.
Nightwing.
Character, Dick Grayson. Grown up. His own superhero, Nightwing. Nightwing director Chris McKay promises that his DC Extended Universe film will be an action-packed movie full of practical effects and real stunt work. ScreenRant.com is reporting the solo character film is one of the several upcoming productions set to be released as part of Warner Bros. DCEU slate, and will center on the eponymous superhero of the same name. As is the case with many comic book superheroes, the Nightwing persona has been inhabited by a number of different characters over the years. McKay's film, however, will specifically focus on the Dick Grayson version after he has moved on from his previous role, serving as Batman's vigilante partner, Robin. So we're going to be getting a Dick Grayson Nightwing film, which is probably okay, good idea. I'm not gonna argue. So.
Yeah. I mean, I remember hearing about this back when Oprah was handing out a bunch of DC movies back then.
You'll get a DC movie! You'll get a DC movie! You'll get a DC movie!
Yeah. Like, I'm waiting for them to just announce every little character they can at this point. So, yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, I've never been like the hugest Nightwing fan. I get it. I just... Okay.
Yeah, what would be... Yeah, that's the only way you can react to this. Okay, all right, I guess.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch it. What would be the most obscure character you could think of, actually, to get a DC movie?
Just to get a DC movie overall?
Not necessarily in the Bat family, but...
The gay ghost, is he DC?
Oh my.
Yes. George Takei, yes. The gay ghost. Either that or like Plastic Man or something like that. Well, actually, you could probably do it pretty funny. Like, if you get the right people behind it. So, I don't know. Batmite.
Oh, you had to bring the Batmite. What's the Green Lantern squirrel, Chip?
Oh, Jesus. Crypto.
Oh God. What's the freaking dog from the remember for anybody out there who used to watch Super Friends, before the Wonder Twins, there was Marvin and I think
the Shaggy and Scooby ripoffs.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember their name either
and they
now.
And they had a dog.
Yeah.
And just to show you how at times you can go too far with this, they rebooted the dog as a dark and gritty character.
Oh, Jesus.
I am not making this up. They gave the dog from that very early incarnation of the Justice League / Super Friends on television a dark and gritty makeover. And it was... I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. The dog is like Cujo. I mean...
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that'd be about as far as you could take it, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that is like giving Astro rabies. It would... That's
George.
Exactly. So anyway, okay, I'm gonna get another aneurysm thinking.
Oh yeah, don't do that to yourself, Rob. All right, moving along. Next story.
Okay, I'm big fans of these two guys. Sony Pictures Television buys into Simon Pegg and Nick Frost's Stolen Picture. Deadline is reporting that Sony Pictures Television has taken a minority stake in UK-based Stolen Picture. The film, TV, and digital banner launched by Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, who you might know from such films as Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End.
Oh, yeah.
This happened last May. The companies have also entered into an exclusive TV distribution deal. Miles Ketley has been appointed CEO of Stolen Picture, joining from Bad Wolf. That's another UK-based thing. Like I said, I'm big fans of those guys, so I'm always kind of interested in what they do.
All right. Yeah, I like them.
Yeah.
I even like Paul, too. Have you seen that one?
I wanted to see Paul. I wanted to see Paul, but it was at the height of the Seth Rogen renaissance. So I was just like, oh, I really don't want to have to deal with it. If you can
get past all the crap, yeah. You'll be all right.
Yeah, okay.
You'd actually possibly like that one. I thought it was pretty good. It's almost like it's a lost one of their movies, but obviously it didn't have all the same people involved. But anyway.
Yeah. Actually, we did cover Paul one time on the old podcast I used to be on, Reality Wasted, and I said about how in the trailer, back in the 80s, when E.T. was in theaters, what was the one thing in every preview you didn't see?
E.T.
Right. In the first 30 seconds of this Paul trailer, they give it right away.
Right.
Well, the kids today, they want to know what everything looks like. I'm like, you could have kept a little mystery.
I mean, yes, it was kind of like a remake of Elf. I'll be honest with you.
I love Alf.
I do too. It was, in a way. I mean, let's be serious here. It wasn't like it was anything original, but it does have some really good moments, and obviously with Simon Pegg and all being involved, it's worth a watch if you ever get a chance to. It is worth it. You might enjoy it.
All right, I'll have to see if it's on Netflix then. So
yeah. Anyway, moving along.
Moving along. Actually, we had to end on another sad note. Bernie Casey.
Really?
A name that you're not going to recognize immediately. Bernie Casey has passed away at the age of 78.
I didn't even know this.
Bernie Casey, he appeared in Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
He was in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. Spies Like Us. Bernie Casey, who started comic films, such as comic films, Revenge of the Nerds, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, has died at age 78. Deadlines confirmed. Casey also had a career as an NFL wide receiver. He died in Los Angeles after being hospitalized for a yet-to-be-announced illness. So he was one of those actors that you always saw. You saw him in a lot of things, and you really, it's like, hey, it's him. Hey, it's that guy. He was in that other movie. So, Bernie Casey, leaving us at age 78.
He was also in Bill and Ted.
Oh, yeah, Bill and Ted's
been in Star Trek.
Oh, yeah.
I knew exactly who you're talking. I did not know until you just told me now that he passed away. That's sad, because, yeah, he's one of those actors that's a real good character actor, and that's too bad.
Yeah. We hate to bring the show down, but...
Yeah, you always like to do that, Rob.
Yeah. What makes you look forward to the next show, then?
That's you know how he does it, folks? Is so that when he tells a joke here in about 2 minutes, it's really funny. Just because you guys were sad here 2 seconds ago. That's why. No, it's true, though. That's how comedy works, folks.
That's how comedy works. So anyway, mark your calendars. Actually, and one quick note. The Orville, this past Sunday, drew in a 6.6 million viewers.
Wow.
So ratings are still strong for the Orville.
All right, and then it moves to Thursdays here, correct?
It moves to Thursdays. It's going to be regular night Thursdays at 9 after Gotham.
So it'll already have been on by the time probably we get this up, or roughly the same time. So yeah, you'll be either watching it or whatever. So let us know what you guys think, of course, of that too down below, and go ahead and check out a recent video we put up over at Midnight's Edge, right, Rob?
Yes, we did. We talked about what did we talk about? Star Trek Discovery, wasn't it?
Star Trek Discovery, yes.
Usually we're talking about that. And actually, by the time we record another show, Star Trek Discovery will have aired, and we can talk about it. So,
but yeah, go ahead.
No, we may be able to have some relevant information about that after having finally seen it.
But yeah, so if you go over to that show, though, we are doing an AMA. You can leave a message or leave a question there. We have a few other places you can leave questions as well. Like you can email us at midnightsedgeafterdark at gmail. You can email us at midnightsedgeafterdark, all one word, at gmail.com. Rob said he'd gladly take some over at Robot Shlomo on Twitter. You can also yak me up at Twitter too and ask me a question there. We'll hopefully get as many questions as we can in one show and sitting with Andre, and yeah, we'll try and answer as many of your guys' questions as we can.
Yes, that is all part of our 50,000 subscriber extravaganza. We're almost there, people. So tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell anybody. So, we don't care who this 50,000 subscriber is, just as long as we cross that finish line. And if you like the show, and if you want to support the show, please consider showing your support on Patreon. Your support on Patreon helps us make the show better by investing in equipment and helping us buy software, and you get all kinds of bonuses. We have, like as I keep saying, we have the uncut Alien mini documentary audio,
which should be soon. Which should be coming on the main channel soon.
That should be coming up on the main channel, and you get special making of Midnight's Edge, making the Edge videos that we're going to be doing for you. So yeah, people. Keep
that in mind when you're asking questions. That we may touch on a few things as far as the history of Midnight's Edge, because we've gotten a few questions already. But Andre's already doing the history over there, and he'll get us involved too over time as we get involved. It's kind of like a book on tape kind of thing where he tells the whole story. So obviously we're not going to get into too many of those kind of questions on the show. But any other questions, go ahead and feel free to ask us.
Yes.
Even Rob's dress size.
Yeah. It's I told you I told you we weren't going to talk about that on the air. So.
Oh, I already gave that answer away. I'm sorry.
So yeah. I mean, Tom and I are going to be starring in a remake of Some Like It Hot, actually. So that's what we need to.
I thought it was just going to be just one of the guys. Make up your mind.
Yes, just one of the guys. Actually, it's a double feature.
We were going to swap it like Paul Feig. Instead of it being about a chick that's going to be a guy, it's going to be about a guy's being a chick.
There you go. So anyway, that's what's happening. And so we once again, I'd like to thank Mr. Tom Connors.
Thank you for having me.
And I am your narrator supreme, Rob Robot Shlomo, in the unhealthiest city in the state, signing off.
Go have some nachos, Rob.
Yes, and we will see you next time.